Okay, hello everyone. Today's session is going to be the GI, the grid infrastructure patching, as well as rack database patching. So we basically deal with patching activity every quarter, right? As Oracle releases every quarterly the patches. It might be security patches or the CPU or the PSU. Uh, is my screen is visible? Is any disturbance? Yeah. Okay. Fine. That's great. Yeah. As I said, like Oracle will release patches on every quarterly basis, and then that might be your CPU patch or PSU patch or one-off patch or any bug fix or any merge patch, right? So the patching activity is one of the common task for all the DBS, whether it might be a standalone or rack. So you should be very thorough with the patching activities, how to troubleshoot, and what are the best practices. Then as long as you do hands-on experiment by your own, then you'll not be able to fix those the common issues. It might be a common issue, but if you don't do the patching, it may seems to be big issue for you, right? So this is one of the common exercise. Each one, all DBA should be thorough with that. So today's agenda is going to be the GI patching, that GI and rack patching understanding. So I will just brief it how the patching works in rack as well as standalone, and what are the best practices you have to adopt. And then immediately we'll jump into the demo session. We'll patch our GI home, and we'll patch our database home, and then at last we'll patch our database. And then we'll see some of the common issues and troubleshooting steps what you need to take. And then at end, as usual, we can go ahead with the common interview questions and answers. Some of the best practices, right? One thing, you have to always manage your inventory locations. Either it might be a central inventory or the local inventory. If you see central inventory, it's going to be wherever you defined. You can check etc or inst.loc. That will tell you, if you check this particular file, that will tell you what is your central inventory if you have set it properly. And then inside that, you might be seeing couple of files, log files and configuration files. One very very important file is inventory.xml. So that is the one which is having your GI information and your Oracle home information and many more, right? So you have to always manage this inventory with proper permissions. Your GI home and your GI owner and database owner both should have a proper read and write permission for your central inventory. And this is for your Solarize. It should be where OPT Oracle Vara and LOC, and it is for Linux, and this is for your Windows. These are like common location. You may have a different location, but these are the common location we standards follow. And whereas coming to this local inventory, it's always going to be under your Oracle home. It is local to that particular Oracle home. Whereas central inventory, it is central across your cluster, where it should be having your GI information and all the Oracle homes running on any of your cluster nodes. All you can see it on under central inventory. So you have to manage that. That means permissions and read and write access for both your GI and Oracle owners. And managing your inventory.xml file. As I said, inventory.xml file or comps.xml file. These are the two very, very important files, because once you patch any patch, one-off patch, merge patch, a piece, CPU or PSU or bundle patch, whatever patch you apply, everything will be listed under your local inventory file, that is comps.xml and the inventory.xml. So if anything missing out of this, for example, if applied January patch, and if that January patch will be applied in this file, if somebody has modified, somebody has deleted that, and then you will not be able to apply your next patch. So it will read that, and it will apply the patch on top of that. So this is very very important. You have to make sure this file has again proper permissions, and nobody has modified anything manually on this. That is the two important best practice you have to follow. And regularly you have to patch your systems. either security again, CPU patch, PSU patch, HANA patch. You have to patch regularly. That is the reason Oracle releases quarterly patches, right? So either you may follow yearly patching or half yearly patching or quarterly patching. Whatever the best you feel, best your organization feel, you have to follow that patching cycle. If you start patching on every January, so you have to start patching on every January. If you want to patch half yearly, you can start with Jan patch, and then you can skip April patch, and you can patch your next third release, that is on July, and the fourth quarter you can skip it. So half yearly you can follow, or yearly or quarterly you can follow whatever the patching best suits for your organization. And one of the most important thing is patch storage. Whatever patch you apply on any Oracle home or any grid home, if you just go to that Oracle home and you go to this hidden directory, that is dot patch underscore storage, this is the one which will be always having that entire patch executable files, all the bundle, all the zip files, library files, JRE, JDK, all the files. If you apply the any patch, you can see under this storage. So since this is a hidden file, if somebody has deleted or it might be huge in size as 10 GB, 20 GB, whatever the patching do, whatever the cycle of patching you do, those many of patches you can see inside this. This will be keep growing. And if somebody sees like junior DB or some OS admin sees, then hey, it's a hidden file, it will not be used anymore. It's a huge of 20 GB in size, so I'm going to delete it. So if they delete it, that is going to be huge impact on your databases. So you just properly manage your patch storage location. That is the other part. And then the inventory backups before you patch, you have to best practice is to always have take your inventory backups, either central inventory, local inventory, everything you have to back it up. And the other best practice is you have to make sure that you have proper GI and Oracle home backups before the patching, right? It is common one, right? Like whatever patching you do, either it's a OS, best practice is to have the OS binary should be taken backup, right? So similarly, if you're patching your GI home and Oracle home, you should have a proper backups. In case of it patching fails, you have the proper backups to restore it back, right? Okay, and then use Opachato. Yeah, of course, there are a lot of debates and a lot of discussion about Opachato. Some people will always recommend to go with Opachato, and some people will say don't go with Opachato and do the manual patching. It has its own pros and cons. I'll cover what is pros and cons. When you come to the Opatch, right? So, if any questions uh, or concerns, like I will go to the next topic. If no questions. Right, fine. GI and rack patching. I'll just give you like brief understanding how the patching works in case of rack. Again, I explained already. These are the typical dates Oracle will releases: quarter one, two, three, four, like Jan 17, April, July, and October. These are the four quarter they will release. And then how the patching starts and patching ends, right? Like you have to plan it. If you have like a 2 node rack or 3 node rack, 4 node rack, whatever activity you do on each node, same steps or same activity you have to carry out on all the cluster nodes. That is for sure. And which order to follow, there's no restriction on that. You can patch fourth node, and you can patch first node, and you can patch third node, and you can patch a second node. Whatever order you can follow, there's no restriction on that. Or else you have 4 nodes, you want to patch 2 node at a time, you can patch it, and then you patch it and bring your database back online and take a 2 more node to patch. Or if you want to patch 3 node and want to keep the fourth node alone at the end, you can keep it. Or you want to patch first node alone and remaining 3 node, I want to patch it in parallel, you can do it. Whatever order you can do it. There is no restriction on that. So if you want to patch one single node, you have to patch your GI home. And in that single node, if you are running a 4 Oracle home or 3 Oracle home or 2 Oracle, whatever Oracle home are running, you have to patch all those Oracle homes. Suppose if you have like 4 node rack, you might be having database on node 1 and node 2. Those are like development database. You might be having database 3 and 4. Like node 3 and 4 might be having your test or UAT databases, and that will be having separate Oracle homes. So whatever it is, irrespective of your Oracle homes, whatever Oracle homes or GI home is running on that node, you have to patch everything. So in order to keep all your the latest security fixes or latest bug fixes should be applied on your Oracle Home and the GI Home. So you have to patch entire Oracle Home and GI Home running on that. So as I said, like best practices, you always start your GI Home first and then patch your Oracle Home first, Oracle Home later. So again, as I said, like there's no restriction on that. You can patch Oracle Home first and you can patch GI Home later. So there's no restriction on that. You can follow anything. But the point here is you have to patch all the Oracle Homes and GI Homes which are running on that node. And then once you patch all the nodes, like you have 4 node cluster, assuming 4 node, if you're patching all, after patching all 4 nodes, and then you need to patch your databases, that is like a data patch. Starting with the 12c, it's the data patch. You need to run a data patch on all the databases. So again, it is not necessarily you have to run data patch on all the cluster nodes, any one of the node. For example, you have a database one here, instance one is running on node one, and instance two is running on node two, instance three and instance four. Four instances are running. You can patch that. You can run the data patch on any one of the node. You no need to run. You're not necessarily need to run on any of all of the nodes. But patching, you have to do it on all of the nodes. But the data patch on any one instance, you can run it either node one or node two. Okay, I have a question from Vikas. What are the recommended approach while patching parallel? What are the recommended approach? It is again left to you, right? Like if you have 4 node clusters and if you are running a very critical application, you do not bear like 2 node down. It means 50% of the load you are shutting it down. You will be end up with having only 50% of the load, right? Like node 3 and node 4 will be surviving. So if you are okay with that 50%, you can run 2 node at a time. But as nobody will go with a 2 node approach, because if you take 1 node down in case of 4 node cluster, you'll be having the 70% of resource available to serve your application, right? So go with the node 1 node at a time if you are approaching the rolling patching, or you are okay with the 50% of the resource in 4 node cluster, you can do 2 node at a time. No restriction on that. It left to you. Okay, there's a one more question from Tanmay. What about if you have a DR? That's a well question, Tanmay. One of the best practices always patch your DR first, and then give couple of weeks, like 1 weeks or 2 weeks or max 3 weeks. You can go. There's a particular Oracle MOS document I will share after end of this session. Oracle will also recommend first patch your DR system and should not go more than a 4 weeks. I seen it in one of the MOS document. I'll figure it out and I'll share it. The 4 week what Oracle is recommended. If you are planning to go for more than 4 weeks, it is not advisable. So patch DR and give like at least 3 weeks, and then check how it behaves, and then you start your production. Then if you are patching DR and then keeping for more than 4 weeks, then again it is not best practice. It is not advisable. You can, as long as you are planning to patch your production, you can patch your DR and keep it for 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and then you patch your production. So that's one of the best approach you can follow. Right? That's about understanding how you can do the patching in case of your rack, and in case of standalone, it's a complete downtime. So you have to shut down everything on the single node and you have to patch it, right? It's as good as that. So any questions here? I'll go to the next slide if no questions. Okay, fine. Okay, so like as I said, like there's a three component here. One is GI home and DB home, and the at the end data patch on your database level. So again, GI patching, how you do, like stop GI home and then unlock your GI home, and then grant permission on your patch directory or patch storage where you downloaded, and do the version like patch version check and ls patches check and config check, system free space check, and then once everything is config free, then apply the patch and post verify and then log and start your GI home. These are the typical 7 steps. Everything we are going to see it in the live. And coming to the DB home, stop your DB home and grant permission to the patch directory where you downloaded, and again do the same thing, latest patch, and check ls patches and check for the config, check for the system free space, and apply the patch and post verification and start your Oracle home. And once you patch your GI home and DB home, and come to the database part. So where you need to do the some DB pre-checks, invalid objects, and any database component is invalid. Once that is done, you run the data patch, that is your post patch, and then after that you run the utilRP and then do some post verification steps. These are typically a three-stage activity. You can do it. Any questions here? So we'll quickly jump into the live demonstration now. Right, so I'll just take my clusterware here. Give me a second. Okay, so I have two nodes here, DevDB1 and ASM1, and I have my DevDB2, that is instance 2, and ASM2 here. So before I go into the practical demonstration, please increase the font. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I hope it is better now. Okay, so I'll just show you something here. I'll just bring here. Okay, this is about the critical patch update. Again, you can search pad in MOS document. The moment you patch, that is the patch availability document, they will release every quarter. I'm referring to the Jan 2021. That is the latest release. So directly, the moment you open your pad document, you can directly go into your database section. So that is here. You can see here, right? What is new in Jan 2021. They will release so many patches. You can see they will start with ODI and enterprise data, web center, so many things. But what we are interested in this database release update and GI release update. Right, so if you go further down, they will explain everything. There are a lot of things. This is a one single document will have everything. So but what we are looking at the database section. So you can directly jump into Oracle database 12.2 and Oracle database 18 and Oracle database 19. You can refer anything. So right now we are having 19c. So I'll just go to the 19c, and then if you go to here, Oracle database server, and this is the combo patch, Oracle database server, and it is a combo patch. Combo patch means your the Jan PSU patch plus OGM patch. And if you go here, this is just a GI and DB home patch. So if you see here, database release update 19.10, this is the one you have to use it. And this one GI release, this is for GI patch. If you are planning to patch only Oracle home, you can download this database release patch 19.10. If you are planning to patch your GI, you can download this 19.10. So what happens, like if you download this GI patch, this GI patch internally have your database patch, right? If you download this GI patch, that is more than enough to patch your Oracle home as well as GI home. So I just opened this particular README document 239. This is the one, your 239. This is a GI patch. This GI patch contains your database patch as well, right? If you go down here, what this GI patch, that entire PSU patch includes, it includes your these 5 patches, right? What these patches, you can go and read this application homes. Only DB home for non-rack. This patch you need to apply for only DB homes, not the GI homes. In case of non-rack standalone systems, in case of grid or in case of rack system, you have to apply on the grid home and DB home. So this patch you need to apply on both DB home and grid home in case of rack. And this patch, right, you can see both DB home and grid home. And these 3 patches, remaining 3 patches, you can apply only on the GI home. So typically, if you come up all together, this all 5 patch you need to apply on the GI home. And whereas it comes to the DB home, you need to apply only these 2 patches. This is what that README document says. And then remaining steps like how to do conflict checks and how to unzip and how to do system space check and how to apply, they will typically tell you to use Opatch Auto to apply. Again, it left to you whether you use Opatch Auto or manual method. You can use whatever you want. So again, I downloaded this database release, the database patch also, right? This one, 454. Read me of that 454. That also I opened. So again, that only talks about your how to apply at your database homes. Again, as I said, like you can just download this GI patch alone. That is more than enough. This will be of 2 GB in size, 2.5 GB in size. It includes your database patch. Right. So I just downloaded here. This is my user and patches PSU, and this is a patch 239. I'll just re-verify. You can see 23 ending with 239. So this patch, if I go inside, I'll be having all those five patches. I already unzipped one, two, three, four, five. All the five patches you can see here. So there's a question here: how to identify exact patch number? How to identify exact patch number means I did not get that question, Kalyan. So as I said, like you can go to this particular. Uh, this is a MOS document every quarter. When the moment they Oracle release the patches, you just search for the patch availability document. You will see patch availability document for Jan 2019 and October 2020 and July 2020. All the whatever so many years, you will see all those, and you have to read entire document, and you have to pick whatever the document you whatever the patch you need. You can see, right, as I said, like they have for ODI, they have for web center, they have for a database, and they have for everything like Microsoft, like, and Exadata for all those. Whichever you want, you have to pick it up. So I'm interested in this one, right? You can see database release patch and GI release patch. And then this is a overview. And again, if you go down, and then precisely you look for your database section, Oracle database. So and then it will start with 19c, and inside 19c you can apply this patch also, no doubt in that. But this patch concludes your the Jan patch plus your OGM patch combo. You can say combo patch and plus your database release, both it has. You can apply this patch, or you can apply individual patch, whatever it is. So if you see this comparison, right, you will get to know this is 19.10. This is the January release. And if you see this is 19.9, that is your, you can see this date also here, right? 2021-01. And you can see this one 2021-01, right? So this is for Unix, and this is all are for Unix, but these are like revised. So whatever the latest available was like 19.10 in the as per the patch availability. So you have to go with your 19.10. And then if you are coming to the GI, you have to go with this one. Again, this is 19.10. Okay, one more question: how to check a previous patch information? Again, as I said, like you can, I'll just quickly search. You can just search patch availability document. You will see October 2020. You just search for patch availability document. You'll see like April 2018, 2013. Uh, you have to dig it out. Like let's see whether it will come here, or else I'll just go back and I'll just search for entire thing. Critical availability document program for, if you want Jan 2020, you can search for 2020. You can see, right, critical availability patch Jan 2020. Right, you can, if you don't want Jan, you want like July, you can search for July 2020. And then you can go to that entire readme, see July 2020. So if you click it, it is similarly what we just gone through, right? Same content it will be, and you can directly go into your database section. So this is database section, and this is again combo, and this is your Oracle home. Like this is 19.8 and GI. So same thing, like same you have to read this readme file, right? If that is done, and again, like one more thing is OPatch. Always one of the best practices whenever you are trying to apply any patch, you have to download the latest OPatch from the MOS. This latest OPatch, that the patch number is going to same, 6880880. See, you can, that 19.x means whatever 19 series, you can download this and you can apply. So again, how we can check it? I'll just go back. You can search this patch number 6880880. You will see all this. So like if your database is 20, you can go with the 20, and if you are going, your database is 19, you can click on this 19. If your database 18, you click on this one. So my database on GI is 19. I'll just click on this one, and then that will go to the download page. Okay, you can see, right, this is the version, OPatch version 12.2.0 1.23. This is the OPatch. This is the recommended. This is the minimum. If the OPatch version is less than that, your OPatch, your patch apply command will fail. Right, you can just download and then replace it here. So that's about patch information. Just I'll quickly then I prepared this patching commands here. Like let's see here. I'll just bring it up here. Okay, whatever we seen in this steps, right? All this typically like I group together. I prepared this patching commands. If you can see here, stopping your CRS and running the pre-patch, and I placed all the patches here, and I'm giving the permission, and then I'm checking the OPatch version, and then I'm doing. Let's execute all one by one. Any questions so far? Okay, so Surinder has how to check a previous patch information. Yeah, that I will show you here. Yes, FNF grep SMON. My Oracle owner is Oracle and grid owner also Oracle. So I just log into Oracle. I no need to worry at all because some environment will be having grid owner as for my grid and Oracle for my Oracle, right? So yeah, so now I will stop my cluster. I will do it on node 1. Sorry, it should be a root user. Sorry for that. I'll just set the environment. So I'll just stop my CRS on node 1. Okay, so Surender, like I will tell you that how to check that patch information in a minute. I'll tell you that. Stopping the CRS is still required if we are running the pre-patch. Uh, yeah, that the pre-patch command basically it will do shutdown. If your cluster is already up, it will do the shutdown and it will run the pre-patch. If your cluster is already down, again it will bring up and it will bring down. So why I am doing this stop patching command is to just to make sure there is no issue at all with my cluster where always try to stop your cluster manually first, and then you do the pre-patch command. So without stopping, if you run the pre-patch command, again you don't know at what point it will stop, what point it will fail, right? So sometimes it will not able to fail over my services, sometimes it will not able to fail over my VIPs. So just to figure it out, I'm just stopping it manually. So if you see, I have not used -f. If you use -f, it will forcefully stop it. I'm not using the -f. I want to make sure that there's no issue at all with my cluster where you can see my cluster where is shut down without any issue. Just a precautionary steps. I'm just doing it. This is the best practice you have to follow. Okay, now I will run the pre-patch. If I do the pre-patch, it will bring up and it will go down. What's wrong with the command? Okay, so there's a hyphen. I'll run it manually. The notepad and this one will not match, right? What happens? rootshare.pl hyphen pre-patch. Give me a second. I will check what is that exact command. It should be root crs hyphen pre-patch. Root crs.sh. So earlier in 11.204, I believe it is a root cr.pl, whereas in 19c it is going to be root crs.sh. I will just run that one. User on app 19c grid crs install root crs.sh. This is just a difference. You can note it out here. In prior to 12c, in 11.204, it is a root cr.pl, and whereas in 12c onwards, it's a root crs.sh. You can see, right? And you can monitor this log if needed. This is the one of the good catch, right? You can find out what is the difference in 11g and 12c. All right, let's see how it goes. I'll just connect in node 1. I'll just SSH to node 1. ps-ef grep smon. It will start my clusterware, right? You can see, right? This clusterware services will be start coming up. d.bin is one of the other way you can monitor all your cluster services, right? All the cluster services are coming up now. So even though we did the stop CRS here, right, it cleanly shut down. And this root crs pre-patch command, what it will do, if my cluster is already up, it will shut down and it will run the pre-patch. If my cluster is down, it will bring up and then bring down and it will run the pre-patch. Okay, so that is one of the nice question, because if you see, that is common interview question. Like, I will just show you that what the GI patching, pre-patch and post-patch command will do. Narayan, like, I'll answer in a few minutes. This is a common question. Most of the times I have faced it, and my colleagues have faced it. So I'll explain it, what exactly that pre-patch command will do. So if you want, we'll tell that this log file, particular log file. If you want the answer, what this pre-patch command will do, just tell this particular log file. You'll get to know what exactly that pre-patch command will do. I'll answer for that question. Give me a second. Let's wait. Any questions so far? Any concern, doubts? It will shut down your TFA. That's why I just tailed this particular log file. It'll give you the answer. I think this will go for a little longer, because the patching is always time consuming. Yeah, of course you can patch. I have seen many customers, they patched in 2017, and now they are coming back. And then suddenly they're hit bugs, and then they're coming to me, and then they're starting. I hit this Vara 600, and then I need to patch it. So then that's going to be complete downtime. I have seen, like, recently one of my customer, like, they patched in way back in 2016 or 2017 Jan patch, and then all of a sudden their entire application went down, and then they are seeing Quora 600 at their database, and there's no other way that Oracle, they went with Oracle, and they told to patch this particular latest version, they told, and then it's a complete downtime. So we have patched it from 2017 directly to 2019. So there's no restriction, you can patch any patch level. Best practice is you always keep a consistency, regularly patch, and to fix all the security bugs. Okay, see, successfully ran the pre-patch command. You can see pre-patch steps of patching GI home completed. And then if you notice here, right, what the pre-patch command will do? Pre-patch command, it will bring down your cluster. It'll stop your TFA, and it will give the permission for few of the binaries in your grid home. So don't ask me what all those files, because even I don't know, like, I need to do research what all files. Without pre-patch, if you run the opatch apply command, it will say, the this particular binary is owned by root, I cannot apply the patch. So the moment you see your GI, okay, I'll show you that what is the difference. I'll just go into my grid home, and I will do, let's say, FNLTR, not grid home, grid home library. So this particular file, if you go here, then this will be all, like, owned by Oracle. And if you go to the your second node, if you check it out, few of the binaries will be owned by root user. So it will, first thing, it will shut down your cluster. It will The second thing, it will stop your TFA, and it will unlock your grid home, and it will change the permission in order to patch this particular Oracle. It will give the permission to grid owner or Oracle owner to apply the patch. And whatever the root permission, some of, if you lock it, some of the binaries or libraries will be owned by root user, so that nobody can edit those files. So if you run the pre-patch command, it will release that lock, and it will the permission will be get changed to grid user or Oracle user. Can you apply the merge patch? Yes, you can apply the merge patch. Merge patch comes into picture when you already applied one off patch, and you hit one more bug, and Oracle suggests to apply one particular patch. If suppose you applied patch number 111 on your Oracle home, and you hit one particular bug, and you raise the Oracle SR, and Oracle told you to apply like 2220 patch, and when you try to apply this 22 patch, it says this is conflicting with this particular 11 patch. So what in if you say the conflicting, then there is only one way. Either you don't apply this patch and leave 111 as it is, or if you want to this apply, you have to roll back this 111 patch, and you can apply this 2222 patch. And if you roll back this 111 patch, what happens, the previous bug, again you will hit it back, right? So you have to apply this 11 On top of that, you apply this 2 patch, so that if it is conflicting, again you have to go back to Oracle. So this 2 patch, what you suggested, it is conflicting with this 111 patch. Then Oracle will suggest, okay, you can roll it back that 1 patch, and they will give a new merge patch combining this 1 and 2 patch, and then you can apply that merge patch. So again, this merge patch is nothing but, you can say it's a kind of one off, but it will be having 2 merge patches. Okay, so what is TFA? TFA, again, long story. I will explain it later, not right now, because these are a lot of things. I'll tell you after some times. First thing is, we need to complete this exercise now. If we get a time, I'll explain that on Tanmay. Give me a second. Again, I already given the proper permission to my patch directory, and here it comes the latest O patch, right? If you see here, okay, I have to log into Oracle plus ASM1 O patch version. You can see, right, 12.2201. But what is the latest O patch available? If I go back to the screen, you need a patch 12.2201.23. You can see this is 17. If you run apply patch command, it will fail. Like I'll show you now. I'll try to apply without patch, and then it will fail, and then we'll see. I already downloaded the latest patch, and we'll see it. So now I will run this particular command, ls patches. Okay, who has asked that question, how to find out what is patch applied? If you can see, right, 19.3, and then what is that patch? You can see 2019-04-16. You can see database release update 19.3. 19.3, how you can see what date it is released? You can see 2019-04 April 2016. So this is very, very old. It's a base release, I can say. And then we're applying directly 2021 January patch on top of this. Right. Next, again, if you do this one, it will give you ls patches, will give you list of ls the patches, and if you do hyphen applied, it will tell you when this patch applied. You can see applied on April 2018. You can see these are like 2019, and then this is the date it applied. And then again, describe is one more command. You can use this describe. It will give you the same output, like all this patch description. It will give what this patch is for. And again, one more command, ls patches -oh. You can run this. These are like just listing out the various ways of listing out the patches. It will just give the list of patches. It will give when it applied, and it will give description each patch and what is that patch. This patch is for OCW. This patch is for SFS. This patch is for your database, and this patch is for your Tomcat. Right. So again, this is again one more way of your listing out the patches. Right now, okay, just you observe this particular command. I need to do the conflict check now. How you can do the conflict check? The grid home prerequisites conflict check against with detail hyphen your patch directory, and you have to give that patch. This is our patch, January patch, and inside that I have 5 sub patches. I am giving all the sub patches hyphen oh, and then your grid home. So first I will run only one command, this conflict command, and you will see the output. You can see succeeded. If there is any conflict, it will give it is conflicting with this particular patch. If I run all, you can run all in one chart. You just monitor this succeeded. I ran all 4 command in one chart now. See this succeeded, and again it succeeded, again succeed. So all are succeed. There is no conflict at all because I don't have any one of patch. This is about conflict check. You can see conflict check, and again next check is system space check. You have to check whether you have enough space to apply this patch, right? That is the same command. Instead of conflict, you have to use check system space hyphen patch base directory, and where you kept all the patches and your GI home. So I'm going to run all 5 in one shot. See succeeded and succeeded. Okay, it's failed here. Very interesting. Why it failed? System space check. Required amount of space 6 GB and it is not available. So if I do df-h, sorry guys, this is my VM. I cannot have more space. I have my GI home under root directory. You can see here it is having only 5.3 GB. Very interesting, right? So minimum space required is 6 GB, right? So I had to clean up something. So we'll do the cleanup. So again, if I do df-h/u01, so 5.3 GB. So I will remove my patch unzipped. I already unzipped. I will remove that zip file. So what I'll do, I will go into my PSU and I already unzipped. I'll remove these zip files rm-rf star.zip. All right. So now if I do df-h/u01, right now I got 9.5 GB. So I'll rerun that command again. So failed this one here, right? So I'll rerun this one here. Okay, there's a question from the, let's say in one session we are applying a set of grid patches. We need to check systems check against patches running one time is enough. No, you have to do it on all the cluster nodes, right? It is particular to that particular node. You have to patch against all the patches. My GI home has 5 patches, right? Inside that grid patch has 5 patches. I'm checking against all the 5 patches. Whereas where it comes to the DB home, you can see, right? DB home I'm doing for only 2 patches. Why I'm doing 2 patches? Because I'm applying only 2 patches. If you see here, right? Where is that? Right, these two, like these 5 patches I'm applying to the GI home, so I need to check that conflict against all 5 patches. When it comes to the DB home, I'm applying only 2 patches. I will do conflict check for only 2 patches. You can see, right, I'm doing only conflict check for 2 patches. So we'll go through that each phases. Okay, now we done with the system space check, conflict check, everything is fast. The apply command is very simple. So it's exactly same as that. You need to pass all the 5 patches one at a time. So I'll just run one patch and then we'll see all 5 patches, all 4 patches in one shot. And then again, okay, what happens? Okay, I told you, right? O patch. You can see this one, right? Check minimum O patch version failed. As I said, like I have not placed any latest O patch. I'll show you that one more version again. You can see this is 17. And if you check this particular log for more information, you can see, right? Where is that? Where is that? Okay, here it is. Available version is 1.17. The required OPatch version is 1.23. So I need to use the latest OPatch. I have that OPatch already available here, right? I have OPatch downloaded, latest OPatch here. I already unzipped here. This is my OPatch. So what I'll do, I'll directly go to my grid home and then I will just move my available OPatch as a OPatch underscore backup, right? So I will move that OPatch and then what I'll do, I'll go back again and then I will just cp-r or you can move whatever you want. I'm right now inside user on patches OPatch. Whatever there is that latest OPatch, I will move inside my grid home. Right, so it's copied. Now what I'll do, I will run that OPatch version again. Okay, OPatch version, you can see 1.23. Earlier it was 1.17. Now we are good to apply the patch. I will run the first patch apply command. Right now it's going on. You can check, you can tail this particular log file for more information and it'll apply it here. And again, one more point to remember here. These are the 5 patch I said. You can apply in any order. There's no restriction on that. You not necessarily have to go in this particular order. You can apply in any order. Right, successfully applied. And I'll go to the next patch, and you can run all in one shot. Next time I will run all three in one shot. Okay, this is really time consuming. Always patching is, that is the reason best practice always, many people will go on weekends or off business hours, then to avoid unnecessary downtime or any issues. Better to go with the weekend activities or off business hours whenever you are planning for the patching exercise. Okay, any questions? Okay, how mobile XTerm allows you to run? It's as simple as that, right? You can just copy paste, left click. But OJM patch need to be base release. It's not, is not it. What is that? OJM patch need the base release. OJM patch need the base release. No, I'm not applying the OJM patch here, right? I'm not applying the OJM patch here. I never mentioned that OJM patch. See, there are a lot of OJM patches, right? Let's go back to the January patch here. If you see here, I'll just go back to the same page where I am. Okay, here, if you download this combo will be having internally OGM patch. I'm just downloaded this database server patch where I'm applying only a database patch and the GI patch. I'm not applying the OGM patch. So where it comes to the next lab, this is the what OGM patch. I not downloaded this patch. I'm not applying this patch. So if you want to apply this patch, the minimum base releases, you need to apply this particular January release. So without applying this Jan patch, you cannot apply the OGM patch. I never mentioned about the OGM patch, right? You are right, but if you want to apply this particular OGM patch, you have to apply first the grid patch or the GI patch. Could you please share some info about OGM? OGM, yeah, I will definitely tell, but let's see how this patching exercise goes here, because it is time consuming. Can we ignore grid patches and just apply the database patch? Yeah, as I said in this particular slide, right? uh, you can apply GI patch and you can apply like Oracle home patch, and you run the data patch. And it is not necessarily you have to apply GI and OGM patch. This Oracle patch, you first patch Oracle home and later you can patch your GI home, or you patch only GI home. It's okay, acceptable. You only patch your Oracle home, it's acceptable. It is not necessarily you have to patch everything, right? You can patch only Oracle home, it is allowed. But again, if you are applying January, the full QFSTP release, so you have to patch everything whatever running on that node. But there's no stopping in either. It will not stop you to apply only patch on your grid home, right? Like sometimes you will be having a 19C GI home and 12C DB home. You can patch your 12C DB home alone. You don't need to patch your GI home. So that is acceptable. You can do it. Yeah, it's going on. This is 454, right? 454 is what patch it is. 454 is what patch it is. 454. 454 is the database. Yeah, that is the lengthiest patch. It will take some time. And rest others are very small patch. It will apply very quick. Why could share some info? Okay, OJM. Yeah, that's what, like why OJM patch? What is that, Lakshmi? Why OJM patch? You need some information, right? Okay, I'll tell you what why OJM patch. OJM patch is basically needed when you have OJM component in your database. If you don't have any OJM component, you are not using your if your application is not using OJM patch, so you no need to apply that OJM patch. OJM is always special patch. So earlier, when you apply the OGM patch, that needs a downtime to run the data patch at your database. So now, a few months back, a few quarter back, Oracle has done some changes with the OGM, and you can run your data patch online without downtime. But OGM is always the trickiest patch. It never been successful. It never been applied in online mode. It needs always a downtime. But Oracle has done some changes in I think last few quarters. I think last 1 year back, they have done some changes, and we can apply OGM patch online mode without downtime. Instead of copying 5 times, is it possible to run all these in one command? Yeah, that's fine, right? I ran it, right? The pre-check command, I ran all 5 in one shot, right? Similarly, you can run all 5 in one command. That's what I'm showing here, right? Like I ran first command alone, I ran second command alone. Now I'm showing you like I'll run all 3 command alone. Like you can do it, if you mention the silent method. If you mention the silent method, what happens? It'll automatically take response here. If you see here, right? Do you want to proceed further? The auto answered by silent. If you mention that silent method, it will automatically take yes and it will proceed further. If you don't mention that silent method here, and every time you need to, the moment you run one command, you need to give, it will wait for your confirmation, yes or no. You need to type yes here. Again, you can see, is the local system ready for patching? Yes or no. Auto answered by hyphen silent. It taken as a hyphen y means yes. That silent command is very very helpful. It will automatically take answer y and then it will proceed further. And if you don't mention that silent command, if you copy all 5 command and run it, it will run only first command alone and it will not run the second command. If you don't mention the silent, you have to mention silent, then you will be able to do this all 5 patches in one shot. Okay, next question here, Ibrahim. We can apply OPatch Auto for all the patches at a time. Yeah, that's simple actually. Many people will follow that. See, you no need to mention anything here. I'll just go through that how OPatch Auto works. Where is that? Where is that OPatch Auto? Okay, here it is. OPatch Auto apply. You can just give this particular patch location, that grid patch. Right? Inside 5 patches are there, right? The moment you do OPatch Auto apply, and then if you give this particular patch, I'll just show you that. Where is that? U01 patches PSU. Oh, sorry, U01 patches CD PSU. And you just need to mention this particular path in OPatch Auto. The moment you mention this particular user patches PSU and only this GI patch, if you mention whatever 5 patches inside, right, it'll apply all those 5 patches. That's the advantage of OPatch. OPatch Auto apply and then just give that one, it'll apply all those 5 patch. So internally what it'll do, it'll run whatever we are doing here, it'll do all these 5 commands. So now I'll run all these 3 commands. Like now 2 patches are done. I will run all 3. You can see, right? One patch, second command, and third command. All 3 command. I'm running it in one shot. Is there any prerequisite steps that makes patching faster instead of taking long? No, whatever we are doing here, it is a best practice. Always you can replace your OPatch, latest OPatch before the patching, and okay, always you can download the patch and give the proper permission and keep it ready. And what else? Like these are the prerequisites you need to do. All the conflict checks, all the system space check, you have to do it one day before the patching, and make sure that everything is ready. And at the patching downtime window, you just need to run only this patch apply command. Rest of the things you can do it anytime. You can download the latest OPatch and place it, and you can do the system space check, you can do the conflict check, and you can leave only this apply command and keep it ready. When the patching window comes, you just apply this and you start your CRS. That's how you can minimize. And the when it comes to the data patch, you have to make sure that there are no invalid object, and you have to tune your database properties and all, like all the invalid, like utilRP and compiling all the invalid indexes, subjects, everything you have to take care at the database level. That will make you the make patching exercise. Okay, let's see, this is done here, this patch is done, and then now we are going with this particular patch 571. Oh, this is really taking a lot of time, man. Yeah, always patching is like that. Okay, can we just one grid node and ignore the remaining? Yeah, of course you can do it. Like, some customers will be running very, very critical application, financial banking application. What they will do, they will be having like 4 node cluster, and they will patch tonight. Like, they will be having only downtime for of like 2 hours. Every day they will patch this node one tonight at 12 p.m. And then they will end the window in 2 hours, like 2 p.m., 2 a.m. They will finish the patching, and they will bring up, and they will stop the patching, and they will go for next day. and next day they will patch other node, and next day they'll patch, like you can do it whatever it is. But until unless if you don't patch your all four nodes, you cannot make use of that security fixes. You have to patch all the four nodes, then only all your whatever the fixes or security fixes will be applied at your database level. Without patching all your cluster nodes and without running data patch at your database level, there's no point running on only one node or two node. Because if you see here, right, even though you apply GI patch, DB home patch, and all the nodes, and still that will not be reflected at your database. After patching all your cluster node, you are running data patch or at your database level, then only all the changes or all the security fixes will be applied at your database level. So if you patch one node or two node or three node and leave it, that doesn't make sense. That does not, you will not gain any profit out of that, right? Okay, OPI no need to bring down CRS. No, whatever you do patching, it needs a downtime. It will automatically bring down, apply the cluster. It will bring down the cluster and it will apply the patch. It will do everything. It will do everything for you. And again, there are a lot of things with the OPH, right? I'll just quickly explain about that. If you want to apply the OPH, where is that OPH? You can mention OPH hyphen OH, right? Like see, OPH apply hyphen OH. If you mention GI home, it will apply on GI home. Hyphen OH DB home, it will apply on only DB home. And if you want to apply on GI home and DB home both together, you just mention OPH apply and this the patch name. It will apply on both your GI home and all your DB homes. Right? There are a lot of options with the OPH. You can do it. It will definitely bring down your cluster. Without bringing down your cluster or without bringing down your database home, you cannot apply the patch. Okay, finally we are done with the GI patch. Let's verify the post patch. I'll run all this in one shot. I will tell you nice question. N apply and apply Tanmay. This is very interesting question. Even I seen many of in many interview this is asked question. Okay, O patch apply. If you see here, right, LS patches 19.0. The Tomcat is always 19.0. No change in that. And OCW. And if you see here, ACFS 10.19.10. Database release 19.10 and DBWLM 19.0. That is the base patch. There's no change in that, right? We are seeing these two, with seeing this SFS and database, you can say that we have applied successfully the latest patch. Right, let's go to the, I'll explain that Tanmay next. What is that? Okay, now comes to the like a post patch command. So what happens if you run the post patch command, and it will bring up your CRS and bring up your database, everything, and again you need to bring down your Oracle home. So one of the best practices to avoid the downtime, you no need to bring up your cluster now. You no need to run the post patch now. Directly jump into Oracle user and you apply the Oracle patch. And once the Oracle patch is done, and then you come back here and start your grid home. So that in one downtime you are patching your both GI as well as DB home. Otherwise, what happens? You got one downtime now. Again, now once your cluster is up, your database will come up automatically. Again, you need to stop your Oracle home and Oracle database manually. And if you have like hundreds of Oracle home, you have to bring down all hundreds of databases. So again, it is a huge time effort, right? Now your cluster where itself is down and all your 100 database is down, you can directly ignore this post patch or start your cluster command. You directly jump into Oracle home and you apply all the patches at Oracle home. So now I'll skip this one. I'll start applying database patch. So again, database patch, log into Oracle user and again check OPatch versions. Again, here also OPatch is older version, it will fail. Okay, 1.17 definitely it will fail. And what I'll do, I'll quickly move this OPatch. I'll go to, again, it is repetitive, but we will stop after this first node because we cannot able to do the other node. That will take a long time. I will just show you this patch. Okay, now I'll go to U01 patches, U01 patches. Okay, so now I have latest patch here. I will do cp-r with permission, and then I will move into my Oracle home. Okay, now I'll verify my OPatch version. What happened? No such a file or directory. What I did cp-r OPatch. Let's go here. OPatch, OPatch. Oh, what happened here? Give me a second. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake here. I should have gone inside OPatch and I moved. Now it's OPatch and OPatch. So I'll just go back and I'll remove that. rm-rf OPatch. So just I'll go back now and then I will do that again. cp-r, where is that command? Okay. Now I'll do the OPatch version. Yeah, now 1.30, 1.23. That's fine. Now we will quickly go and we'll verify the patches. I will just run only two command. It's a repetitive command. Just said, right? You can see, right? Okay, I have not set. See, this is one of the disadvantages. If you have only Oracle user, which is running for your grid and DB, you have to set the proper Oracle environment. Even though, see, I ran OPH for my DB home, it is showing for my grid home because the environment is set for grid home. So this is very, very important. You have to make sure you have to set the proper environment. You can see, right? It is currently set to my grid environment. So that will make a lot of destructive commands. Like you have to set up, make sure your environment is set properly. Dev db1 env grep ora, just to make sure that you have set a proper environment, right? Now if I run the same command, it will give you the output of my Oracle home. Now see, you've seen 5 patches, but these 5 patches belongs to my grid home. If you see, now I set a proper environment, I ran the OPatch ls patches, I saw only 2 patches here, OCW and database, because my database don't need ACFS, my database don't need DBWLM. Oh, this is only for grid home, right? And OCW is also for grid home. My data, sorry, OCW is for database. This one, and Tomcat is for grid home. So that is you need to make sure you have to set a proper environment before you run any command. Right now, I have only 2 patches, and if you observe, it is 19.3, and that is released in 2019. So now config check, as I said, I am doing it for only 2 patches because I'm applying only for 2 patches. And I'll run this system space check again. It's a config is success here. System space check. Hopefully we'll have enough space here. Okay, failed. That's great. Okay, you can see, right? We applied that grid home and then again we ended like consumed some of the space and we are running out of this 4.9 GB. We don't have much space on this. So again, I need to clean up something. What I'll do, I will go into my PSU U01 patches. What else I can remove here? So I don't think I can remove any of the patches here, but I can remove whichever patch is not needed for DBM. But that is hardly how much in size. Let's see what else I can do here. One is this and one is this one, right? One is this 5 dot and this one is needed, and this one is needed. I'll just check what is the size of this one. If I remove it, if I get the space, I will continue. Otherwise, we will check it out what we can do. Sorry guys, like literally I don't have a space in this VM. I need to add it. Okay, so I need to go inside. Okay, no, ewd ls-ltr. Okay, do-sch star. What else? This one 549 549 549 594. Sorry, 594 is of just MB, no use at all. And uh, this 663 is not needed. I can remove that. 663 is of 1 GB. I'll get it approximately. And then this one 590 where is 590? Okay, that is also no use at all. So I can remove this one. Still, I don't think I can run the patches here. Let's see. System space check. I can run here now. So if I don't have any space, we need to stop it here for the today's session because I should have checked it before. So any questions here? Like, we assuming that, anyway, we're running out of time. So we will quickly stop it here for this patching exercise because that's a time consuming, and we'll continue with the other slides, what I wanted to show you, this troubleshooting. So any questions here? So if no questions, I will just quickly touch into troubleshooting part. One of the troubleshooting option is when you are hitting into any issues, if you are not able to get any solution and not if you're not getting any clue, you just enable opatch debug true and then run the same command. It will generate the lot of trace files and you can read it, and it will give you exactly what was the fail. But other best practices, as you said, like, if you see it is failed, and the moment it failed, that if you see this particular log file, you will see what was the fail reason. One thing is you have to always check the particular log file. It will say space needed and available space. Then you will immediately get to know what is the cause for this particular fail. One thing is you check for that particular log file. Other thing is you can enable this debug option. And the other thing is, as I said, like patch storage. Sometimes you may get like this: inventory load failed. Opatch cannot load inventory. So Opatch cannot load inventory. If you get this particular error message and verify your Opatch, verify your inventory, everything is working fine. And then next thing is you need to check your patch storage. If somebody has deleted your patch storage, then that is where you get this kind of error message: inventory cannot load and patch does not exist in the central inventory. Home dir path does not exist in your home directory. Like, I'll just quickly go into my Oracle home. I'll show you that patch directory. Oracle home dot patch storage. Where is that? lsifnltr dot patch storage. Right, this is the patch storage. If you can see, right, this is the patch, and also you'll see when it applied, and also you can see all the respective files here. You can see, right, if by looking at this naming, you may see when it got applied. You can see these are the two patches currently available, and these are applied in way back in 2019. And similarly, if I go to my grid home, use your own latest, we applied 5 patches, right? You may see all those 5 patches: 19c grid and dot patch storage. So this is my grid patch storage location. If I do it here, you can see, right, all this 2021, all these patches. And I can remove these patches, right? So these are like way back in 2019. These are not needed anymore. So look, assuming that if you remove it here manually, that is not a best practice. You have to use opatch to remove that I will cover how to remove it. See, right now we applied 5 patches, like 1 2 3 4 5. These are like, assuming these are 5 patches are applied and they are active, and these are like inactive patches. So inactive patches unnecessarily, these are consuming almost around 5 GB, right? You can see, right, all these patches are approximately of like 1 GB, 500 MB, like all this, right? Like you can manually remove all this. Like if you remove manually, that may leads into the like future patching. If you go for future patching, that will give some kind of weird error message and all. So best way to remove these inactive patches, you have to use opatch to remove those inactive patches, and you can keep whatever the active patches, to just to avoid unnecessary space usage here. Right, this is one of the practice you can follow. I'll show you that how to remove that inactive patches using opatch. And these are the common errors. And the other thing is the patch is not properly staged, and patch is not properly downloaded, and patch is not properly unzipped, and no, not properly given permission on my patch staging directory. These are common error message. And GI home is not properly unlocked, like pre-patch and post-patch what we run, right? These are important. If you're not properly unlocked, then you may get error while locking, or while applying the patch, or while starting the cluster. Cluster is not in rolling upgrade mode. The moment you run the pre-patch and bring it up to your cluster on node 1, your GI home is automatically become rolling upgrade mode. Then only you will be able to bring up your cluster. If it is GI is not rolling upgrade mode, then you will not be able to bring up your cluster on that patched node. So, and then data patch hang issues. So I wanted to show you all this, but due to time and due to that the issue, I cannot fix it right now. These are common issues. Data patch hang issues. Quickly, I will tell you. If you one of the best practices after you patch your GI home, sorry, after you patch all your cluster nodes, to patch your data patch, if you run your data patch at your database level, you have to make sure that no transactions are running on your database level. Even though if there is a heavy transactions are running on your database level, and if you run your data patch, definitely your data patch is going to hang, and you will not be able to succeed your data patch. So plan it running your data patch during off business hours, and less transactions. When the less transactions are running, that time you can try to run your data patch. Otherwise, that is going to hang. And PDB, make sure that your PDB should be in open mode. If your PDB is in mount mode or your PDBs are not opened, then if you apply data patch, it will not be applied at your PDB level. Like, these are the common issues and troubleshooting you have to take care. And coming to the few of the common interview questions. So any questions so far before we touch into these 5 6 interview questions? Right. So one of the common interview questions I already answered for this one. What is the GI patching, pre-patch and post-patch command? Right. As I said, like, pre-patch and post-patch commands are very very important. Without running the pre-patch command, if you patch your GI home, you will see that permission error message, and you'll see that GI home is not locked, and your GI is in not in rolling upgrade mode. So once you run the pre-patch command, automatically it will bring up your cluster, where it will bring up your TFA, and it will assign the proper permissions in order to patch by GI home. It will change the permissions from root to grid owner, and then it will unlock your grid home. That is about the pre-patch. And post-patch, again, it will bring up your cluster, and it will put your cluster into rolling upgrade mode, and then you can able to bring that cluster on that particular node, and all the cluster services and database will be comes online. Again, the post patch will set all the permissions back to root user, and it will lock the grid home. That's about the pre-patch and post-patch. And when you are running post-patch, it will complaining that pre-patch not ran. And what you do? So even though you ran the pre-patch and applied the patch, and then while running the post-patch, you may get that error message, pre-patch not ran, and you patched it, and I will not be able to bring up my cluster. So that time there's a command cfg tool, and hyphen patch. You need to patch it, then it will bring up your cluster. Or else you need to run that pre-patch command again, and you need to run the post-patch command again. So the answer for that, like, already answered here. Like, after patching all the nodes, while running the last node, it will say that there's a patch mismatch. Even though you applied the same patch on all the cluster nodes, and it still stays, it is patch mismatch. So that time, you have to forcefully run that hyphen patch command. CF that command, even I cannot remember, like that CFGFD tool, and then hyphen patch you need to pass it. I'll give that answer. What is that hyphen patch? You need to pass it. The moment you run it, it will set all the cluster patch level same on all the cluster nodes. Okay, then can I patch DB home without GI patch? Yes, you can patch DB home alone. You can skip your GI home, or you can patch GI home alone and you can skip DB home. And can I patch multiple Oracle homes parallelly, or I can run the GI and DB home patch parallelly? No, this you cannot do it, because the moment you start your OPatch, it will lock your central inventory. If you lock your central inventory by GI grid owner, and you cannot run any patch. If you lock your grid central inventory by Oracle user, and you cannot run any other OPatch, you can run only one OPatch at a time. And can I run the data patch parallelly? If I have 10 database, can I run five database in two set? Yes, this is allowed. Data patch can be run parallelly. If you have like hundreds of DB, you can put 5 or 10 in one file, and you can run it data patch on all those 10 DBs. Okay, there is one more question here, Tanmay. I have a few questions. Please answer. What are those questions, Tanmay? Okay, Kalyan, what is the difference between n apply? Okay, uh, if you do just apply, what it will do, like, see, I'll just go back to my patch here. Where is that patch? Okay, u01 u01 patches, psu. Okay, right. So this is my sub patches. These are like 5 patches. So if I go inside this patch, uh, there are no sub patches. This is a single patch. Inside that, there are no sub patches. If you do just apply, I will do pwd, and this is a patch. If you do apply, and if you do apply this particular command, and it will apply only this patch if you use apply command. Instead of that, if you do n apply and if you run this command, what it will do, it will apply this particular patch and then it will go inside. And if there are any sub patches inside that, there might be sub patches inside a patch. All those sub patches will be applied on your grid home or dbhome wherever you are running. So always always recommended to use n apply, because you will not be knowing. Oracle will just tell apply this particular patch. You don't know whether until unless if you go through entire readme of this file, you will not be getting to know whether this patch has a sub patch internally or not. So if you thorough with that, then you can use apply patch. If you're not sure about that, always use n apply. So it will apply this particular patch and also apply whatever the sub patches inside that. Okay, next, I missed few of the questions. I'm just going through chat history here. What internally makes changes in the upgrade mode? What internally change makes? No, there's a two concept, right? The moment I'll just if I have that log. Pre-patch command, you might have noticed here when I ran the pre-patch command, if I have that output, where is that? Okay, sorry, okay, I have here, right? See, the moment you run the pre-patch command here, your clusterware will be in the normal mode. You can see, right? Clusterware version, this is the version, and clusterware in uh, this cluster upgrade state is normal. The moment you run your pre-patch command, it normal mode, it become rolling upgrade mode. The rolling upgrade mode in the sense, you will be able to bring up any of your cluster node if your cluster where is in mismatch state. What that rolling upgrade mode means, you have patched this particular node 1 to 19.10, whereas your node 2 is in 19.3. Even though there is a patch mismatch, I will be able to bring up my cluster where here, because that is the advantage of having your rolling upgrade mode. If you are having a normal upgrade mode and if you apply the patch on node 1, you will not be able to bring up your clusterware on this node 1, because your clusterware active patch is 19.3 and you applied 19.10 here, and your cluster state is normal, and this node 1 is expected to be 19.3, but you patch to 19.10. So that's the advantage of rolling upgrade mode. And how it internally manages, it is like Oracle. Even I cannot answer like Oracle, it will manage it internally. That is a brilliant question. Like even I need to do some research on that. I will definitely, if I found something, what all changes it will do internally in rolling upgrade mode, that I'll definitely answer. Okay, what else? Like, is there any other questions? I'm just going through my chart history because I missed for a couple of questions. I'll automatically bring up. Okay, this I already answered. Okay, fine. I think I already answered all the questions. So any more questions? Because we are already over time today. So I'm extremely sorry for that. Like will try to stick to the time going forward, because again, as I said, patching activity is one of the time consuming. So pre-patch keep the grid in rolling upgrade mode. Not exactly. Pre-patch will not keep my cluster in rolling upgrade mode. Post-patch will keep in my rolling upgrade mode. This is very interesting question, Kalyan, because the moment what pre-patch will tell, the answer will, you will be saying that, oh, pre-patch command, it will go my cluster into, it will keep my cluster into upgrade mode. That is not. Pre-patch command will stop my cluster, it will stop my TFA, and it will give the permission, it will unlock my grid home, and that's it. When you run the post patch command, that is where your cluster where it will become rolling upgrade mode. Okay, then any more questions? If not, then we will stop the today's session. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks for everyone joining this session. Thanks a lot. Bye everyone. Okay, there's a last question, Kalyan. How to keep cluster in rolling upgrade mode? Yeah, there's an alter command. You have to log into your ASM as a grid user. You can manually change that rolling upgrade mode and normal mode, all the command. Definitely, I will ping you in my group. What are those commands? How you can keep normal mode to rolling mode and rolling mode to normal mode. This is one of the weird situation. Even though if you patch and if you run the pre-patch and post-patch, and sometimes you might see in your cluster where is in still rolling upgrade mode. That time you need to manually go into your ASM and you have to do alter cluster upgrade state to normal. I'll ping you definitely in our group after this session. That is possible. You can change it to rolling mode to normal mode to rolling mode. Manually also you can do it. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the session. Bye everyone.